Hi guys, I am finally normal, well sort of normal. Let's see if it's live. There we go. I am sort of normal. I'm recovering from COVID, so I got really sick. I had my birthday, and anyway, I don't know if I got it from someone at my party, I'm not quite sure, but I got COVID, and then I'm pretty sure I got a sinus infection after COVID on top of recovering from all that. So I'm finally feeling somewhat normal. So I'm happy to do a video today. I thought of it actually a few months ago, and then I finally got the stamp set for it, so I was excited to share it with you guys. So, I forgot my dimensionals. I'll have to grab some because this is the card that we're making today. There we go. So yeah, I'm just gonna get started. All right, so the card we're making today, if it's gonna participate with me, there we go. We're gonna make a raccoon-inspired, Meeko-inspired card with this all bundled up stamp set. Let me grab the dimensionals really quick. I just realized I needed those. Okay, so this is our stamp set called All Bundled Up, and I thought it was just such a fun stamp set. I've got a couple options for some cards out of this one, and this one just happened to be the first one I grabbed because I thought, I was really, I don't know, kind of in love with this little raccoon, and I knew I had some fall paper that would work with it. So I'll show you why I thought it was kind of cool to pair up this paper. This is the Harvest, Rustic Harvest paper. But what's cool about black and white paper is you can technically make it whatever you want if you color the white with some blends or even just some regular markers. If you don't have blends, you can just use the Stampin' Write markers or colored pencils. I think that's it. I just thought just this little raccoon right here on the front corner was cute enough. I didn't want to do anything too crazy. I was going to have a little sentiment here, but I chose to use this sentiment actually. So from a different stamp set, it says, "I'm blown away by you," because I felt like the leaves and the blowing, I don't know, it made me think of this stamp set, which I also love, and I have a bunch of ideas about what to do with this one. Maybe I'll do this one on Friday because obviously the cat I'm in love with. And this technically matches that. It's just such a cute stamp coordination. And so I was debating on putting this on the front, but everywhere I put it, when I punched out the label, you can see it just was like, I don't know, I just didn't want to cover up all the pretty paper. I just felt like, we can also put our sentiments on the inside. And so I thought I'd show you that today. So let me go ahead and grab my pieces here. This is the Rustic Harvest paper. I've shown it to you before. I've shown you a card using this as the front, and this is a great card for just, this is the entire card. You don't need anything else to add to it. It's obviously very harvest, very fall. We're going to be using this piece here. And then I love this green one. I just haven't done anything with it yet. And the back side has some gingham. What's the back side of this one? Okay, the back side of this one just has some little flowers. And then my favorite sheet is this pumpkin, but I love pumpkins. I love anything to do with pumpkins. I could make 1,000 pumpkin cards and be happy as a clam. I just can't get enough of pumpkins. I love fall. I really do. And it's actually some nice weather right now for fall. So it's actually been really good here in Texas, surprisingly. If you know anything about Texas, it's usually pretty hot here, even in the fall. So I was super happy when the weather has been, moderate. It hasn't been cold. In the morning, it's been a little chilly, but it's not really that cold. All right, so I'm just gonna stamp, well, I guess I don't need to stamp it, but I'm already inking it. I had that one as my backup, in case, but you also wanna let your ink dry a second before you start coloring it. And so before I start, I want that to dry. So it's actually good that this one's already done for us because you want it to dry before you start coloring. So I'm just going to color this one since I have it here handy. And I'm just going to be using a couple different, so I'm going to use the yellow here. This is Daffodil Delight, the dark Daffodil Delight. I don't know, I just thought I'd use the yellow on the hat. It was just winging it. And then I wanted to use this light starry sky on the hat and scarf. And so I'm just doing that first. And then we'll get into the harder part of the raccoon. So Meeko is the little raccoon character friend of Pocahontas. And obviously, like the colors of the wind, I always feel like Pocahontas is a very rainbow inspired movie, in my opinion, because they just are, it's so rich in color. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Disney movie, but I did really like it, to be honest. I really, really enjoyed it, and I've watched it many, many times. I think soundtrack was good. I mean, it's not as good as Lion King or Mermaid or anything, but there's something about Pocahontas that I was really inspired by. Maybe also because it was a Native American character, which was really unusual because, I think it's possible that was the first brown princess, quote unquote. She isn't really a princess, so to speak. I mean, she is, but she's the daughter of the chief. Okay, so this is the black Stampin' Right marker, and I'm using black because if you look up Meeko on any of the sites, let me use the other side. I'm going to use the brush side. If you look up Meeko on the, in a Google, you'll see that he has little black ears inside. The inside of his ears are black, and his paws are black. And so when I did his paws, I don't want it to be a straight line, but I definitely wanted his paws to be black. But yeah, so technically Pocahontas was like the first, princess of color, so to speak. And I think maybe that inspired me too, because I don't know, I just thought that was kind of cool. Technically I'm a Mexican American woman, technically, because my grandmother is Mexican American. My great grandmother was technically from Mexico, and so that's where I get my heritage. And I was raised by that family, that part of my family. I wasn't really raised by my dad's side of the family. Other than my dad, and so I identify a lot with the Hispanic side of my family because I was with them all the time. Now, we didn't speak Spanish in my grandmother's home or at home. That wasn't normal. I learned that as an adult. But it came pretty naturally because we did know some Spanish words when we were younger, and you kind of pick some things up. All right, so for the dark gray for around the eyes, instead of using black, he has like a dark gray around his eyes instead of black. So I did the black on the ears, and this is basic gray is what this is. I needed a darker gray, but I didn't want it to be so, I wanted it to be dark, but not necessarily black. So it's that in between. This is smoky, no, this is gray granite. So this wasn't dark enough. And I want to put, yeah. And so I just did that on his eyes. And then his, right here, I want this to be the darker gray. Okay, and then the rest of his body is gray, not this part right under the scarf. You'll see, because his belly is actually like a lighter gray. It's a really subtle difference. I don't know if anyone really notices the difference when I color it, but I'm using, this is a dark gray granite. Because I don't know if they even make an even darker gray, but I could be wrong. They might make a gray granite. I mean, a darker gray, smoky slate. Because the blends are kind of funny because sometimes it's the cousin. So like basic gray is like pretty much black. So, you know, if you have a black blend, I mean, I'm sure they have a black blend and I don't even know it. And so I just wanted to use the dark. This is the dark gray granite, and this one I did just on the little point of his face and his body. And then technically his belly has this like light belly, but see, it's covered by the scarf. No one will even notice that, but I noticed it. And so I went ahead and did this. And then his little face is just is lighter, but it's kind of hard to tell. I know in the video it'll be hard to tell. It's really hard to see pictures, the difference in the colors in the videos. I know that. So then I went ahead and I took the black. I took the fine point basic black Stampin' Write marker. And in order to add texture, because I didn't have another, you know how I love to add texture with the blends? Well, I didn't have another color to add texture. So I actually just took the black and I started making like little hash marks where the fur is already, you know, it already shows the fur lines with the stamp, but I wanted just a little bit more so that it gave it just a little bit more fuzziness. And so I added some more, and I'll hold it up a little bit so you can see. And they're just, I just literally make little tiny hash marks. I'm not actually doing anything special, just tiny hash marks. So even if you make one that you don't really like, no one's going to notice it. It just gives a little more whiskery look to the fur. And so it just does just a little bit more whiskeriness. And so raccoons look so cute, but they're actually really mean from what I understand. They're like a really mean, same with possums. They seem like they'd be such cute little animals, but they're actually really mean. But okay. If you watch like Animal Planet and any of that. So let me hold it up here. So you see how I added all those little black hash marks? That is the texture of the basic black Stampin' Write marker. And especially down here on his legs, you can see that I added those extra marks. It just makes it a little more whiskery is the only word I can think of right now. And it just gives a little extra something to the raccoon, to little Meeko. And so I don't know if you liked, I'm going to add a few more down here because I feel like his little paws don't have enough. Like the rest had it and not that. So yeah, and so there we go. And we're just going to cut him out using our scissors, our little snips. And the key to cutting out any kind of image, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this little guy, I always, if you ever stamp extras, what I often do is I just save them inside my Stampin' case because you know, I'll lose it if I put it somewhere else. But if I keep it inside the stamp case, when I go to grab the stamps again, then I know, oh, I don't have to stamp that. I already have it. So, all right. So the key to cutting out any image is you move the paper, not the scissors. So you see how I'm holding the papers or the scissors like just kind of still? I mean, I'm moving them up and down a little, but I'm really trying to move the paper more than you move the scissors, because that really helps you keep that nice edge so that when you're cutting out your little image, you can still keep the nice trimmed edge as if you had a die cut, but not necessarily trying to cut on the line. I find that trying to cut right on the line usually just looks so bad. I usually can't get it right. So I always try to keep a border. Oh, the hand doesn't have a border, but that's okay. No one's gonna notice. I try to keep a nice little border, and I just try to keep them rounded edges unless necessary. So just keep those little rounded edges. And so now we've got our little raccoon, so little Meeko, super cute, and that's Starry Sky, and that's Daffodil Delight. And he turned out pretty cute, I feel like. He, you know, especially all those extra whiskers. I might add more whiskers to my other one that I have here. So then when I decided to color, because, you know, like I told you how Pocahontas, it's like all about the colors of the wind, you know, and so all of the leaves in that movie are different colors. They don't really have them as, oh, sorry, my camera's, I didn't realize it was falling. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I just didn't want it to fall on you, on me. There. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully it's gonna stay for me. We'll see. That's weird. It keeps falling down. Anyway, well, that's the best I can get. So we'll just leave it there. So when you watch the movie, all the leaves are different colors when the wind is blowing. And so that's why I chose that leaf pattern from the Rustic Harvest paper. Now, I don't like Cajun Craze. It's really not my favorite color. So that's why I thought, well, that's what's kind of cool about black and white paper, like I was telling you. So what I knew is I knew I wanted pink. I just randomly chose colors. And then I had a little scrap. Actually, I've thrown the scrap away, but I had a scrap piece of paper. So you could, you know, like I could test out to see if that's a color I wanted. I think it might be underneath here. So what I did is I chose to color 3 leaves at a time. And I just, this is Melon Mambo. This is light Melon Mambo, because I definitely wanted pink, but I didn't want necessarily a super, super bright Melon Mambo. I chose the lighter, I think, for almost all my colors, because I still wanted to see the little tendrils on the little veins on the leaves. And so when I was choosing to color leaves, I literally just colored them by, I colored them 3 at a time. And I randomly chose 3 different leaves. I'm going to choose this one here. Just color this little one. And I might color more later. It's because there'll be a few odd and end ones that you'll find. But, okay, what color is this one? Oh, this one's dark red. Yeah. This is dark real red. The cap looks like it's a pink, but it's not. It's actually red. And so I went ahead and I just colored 3 more. I just chose different, you could use any colors you have, of course, but I happen to choose these random colors. I kept thinking of a rainbow and the colors in Pocahontas, which are just so rich and regal. And even the poster, if you just look up any pictures of Pocahontas, and you'll see, especially when she's in the boat, like all the colors in that movie are just really, really pretty, I think. And let me choose, I'm going to choose, I don't want it to be too close to the pink. I'll choose this one over here. And then I'm choosing a red, an orange. Make this one orange. And like I said, I stuck with 3, just 3 leaves. That's how I did it, 3 at a time, until I got them all colored in. And then when I felt like I had enough of the colors I wanted, then I just repeated a few times. And so it's funny, it's funny how just one little marker and coloring can just change the, can just change the whole paper and make it a different kind of paper. Instead of being just really muted and dark, you can make it a really bright, or, in theory, I could color these just in fall colors, just orange and brown and dark burgundy, and then you would have had a different type of card. And so I just thought that was a fun option. Okay, 1, 2, one more. I'll color this one. It's a little ginseng looking card. Looks like a ginseng, I think. I could be wrong. All right, and then I'm gonna take purple. This is dark Highland Heather. I had to make sure I had some good purple in here because there's a lot of purple in Pocahontas. Like I told you, it's a lot of rich blue, regal blue, and regal purples. It's a very color-rich movie. I think even more so than Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. But that's just my opinion. Little Mermaid has just so much gold and bright, and then of course it's super dark, of course, when there's the scary scenes. And then for Little Mermaid, it's really bright rainbow colors. And then, yeah, I feel like it's just a brighter type of movie. It's just an interesting thing to observe when I was looking at it. Okay, and this is Light Starry Sky, which is one of my favorite colors. I really love this color. I hope it never goes away, but I know it will. I know some colors come back, but sometimes I really do miss certain colors, like Lemon Lime Twist. Now, Parakeet Party is a good alternative to Lemon Lime Twist, but it's not truly the same. It's a good alternative, though. Oh, thanks, Marcia. Sorry, I just saw your comment. Okay. All right. And let's see, I'll take some light Bermuda Bay. So we'll just color this. Like I said, I'm doing it in 3s. And then I'll fill in the last few. Okay, 2, 3. And this is Light Orchid Oasis. It's a type of blue, but it's not as rich as the Starry Sky. It definitely has a more purple hue as it dries. Let me do this one here in the corner. Gotta do some yellow ones here. This is that Daffodil Delight again. Okay, let me take that light melon mambo and fill in some of these ones on the end here. I think I've gotten all my colors. And this is Dark Highland Heather again. Let me put one here. And so now I'm just randomly filling in these other ones. I'm trying to make sure that none of them are right next to the same color. So I think I'll take the red for right here. And I'll put some red right there. I'm just filling in. I might grab some Bermuda Bay here in a minute because that one I didn't color much of. Or I'll do some orange pumpkin pie, dark pumpkin pie, not the light pumpkin pie. Okay. And I'll do this one and pumpkin pie over here. Let's see. I think I'll just use pink melon mambo here. I just realized I've got the stem here. And this one I'll do in a different color. There we go. All right, so there you go. So all I did was I just colored in threes until I filled in the whole thing. This is the Rustic Harvest paper. And see, it bleeds through. So this is why you always want to have something underneath when you're coloring with blends, because look at how it bled through. If I hadn't had the paper here, it would have gone onto the table, which isn't a terrible thing. It'll clean off. But the problem is if I put down my card onto the wet ink, you know, on the table, it would have made quite a mess. So here we go. Just saw some white there. Okay, so now what I decided to do for the ribbon is I just wanted a little bit of this fresh freesia and polished pink, because I just wanted something bright. I was trying to use just one, but the raccoon's a little wide. So I decided, oops, I used my paper scissors on the ribbon. I'm lucky they were sharp. Usually it doesn't cut that well. I usually just use my ribbon scissors just for ribbon and my paper scissors just for paper, because what'll happen is the paper scissors could just get really dull. So these are the polished pink and fresh freesia open weave ribbon, and oh, you actually messed it up. It won't come off. Oh, interesting. I hadn't known that it wouldn't come off. So these are the open weave ribbon. They're in the standard catalog, you know, because they're part of our in colors. And what I decided was I was just going to, I usually just tape them behind. So I want to put them about right here. And so I'm just going to use some tape. You can use any kind of adhesive you want. I tend to use tape because it's repositional and it's cheap. And I don't know, it's just one less extra supply, you know, $1 for tape, and I can use as much as I want. Now we have other adhesives that hold ribbon very well too. But I usually just keep with that. Oh, well, I guess you're right, because they're alcohol blends. They do, you know, I've shown you how you can color embellishments with the alcohol blends, and it won't rub off. So I guess it is permanent, more permanent than the other things. That would make sense, because it, you know, depending on the lacquer on your table. This is a dark mahogany type desk, so it's really heavy, so it's not usually gonna stain anything. And then I'm just gonna pop my little raccoon right here, and I'm just using up a bunch of my mini dimensionals, because I have a bunch of them and I don't use them as much as I use the, you know, eventually, you know, mini dimensionals over time, like any dimensional, they eventually get kind of not dry completely, but they will dry up a little bit, you know, especially if you have them years and years. And some of these I know I've had a few years, and so that's why I'm using these up, to use up my little mini dimensionals. I have regular size ones too, but I don't use the minis as much. I think I just don't do things that are that fussy usually. And when I do, I just cut up to my dimensionals. And so, and I always put a lot of dimensionals, I know. I just like to make sure my little image isn't going to squash when I mail it. Okay, so let me get that popped right on. And see, I just wanted him lined up in the corner, but I didn't want him, you know, too far up. And like I was telling you, I was trying to figure out how to put the sentiment, and I was going to put, you know, I'm blown away by you here, but you know, it covers up so much of the, it covers up so many of the leaves, and I guess I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to leave a lot of the leaves open. So, and this is using my new punch. I was so excited to show you guys my new punch. This is, I think, oh gosh, it's something like Everyday Tag. Something Tag is what it's called. And the inside, what I decided to do is I wanted to stamp the inside with the sentiment, I'm blown away by you, because I felt like that sentiment fit. So, and because it's a crooked sentiment, it's easy to make sure it's centered, because it's intentionally, it's got a little halo. Gotta be careful. I rocked it a little. There we go. And so you almost can't make it crooked in a way. It's almost impossible to make it crooked because it's already a crooked sentiment. So no matter how you stamp it, it comes out right. So yeah, so there's my little sentiment. And you know, it'd be, if you have some leaves, I don't have a lot of florals. I just don't use a lot of floral stamps. I usually tend to like the cartoon ones, maybe just the Disney in me. And that was Starry Sky ink that I used for this inside. So if you had some leaves from a stamp set, like I have some leaves that are from a paper pumpkin kit, and that would be perfect to add a few of those leaves like in the corner, like blowing. That would be cute. And so I actually think I might go grab some of those and use those. So if you have any kind of leaves that are from a stamp set, you could use those on the inside. So that's it. I didn't do anything extra. That's it. Very simple card, but I thought the Meeko was just so cute. And I'm definitely going to add some more of those little lines to this one because I like how it looked so whiskery when I was on the other one. And so, yeah, I'm going to add just a few more little whiskers here, especially around his face, his eyes. I like that look. Yeah, I'm just glad I'm feeling better. Having COVID was really rougher than I expected. I was so tired. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure I got a sinus infection on top of having COVID. And so when I was recovering from COVID, I was trying to fight off a sinus infection too. And luckily I got it all under control and managed, but man, that was rough. It's just harder than I thought. It was just a little rough. So there we go. Yeah, a lot of little fuzz on his little belly and everything. So there we go. And so even though they're, you know, I used different, I colored it a little differently, it still came out so pretty. You know, I think it just came out really good. So remember, this is using the All Bundled Up stamp set, which is such a fun stamp set. And it's using the I'm Blown Away from the Glad We're Friends stamp set. And so I just thought that they were cute together. I was thinking about You're the Coolest, but I felt like I'm Blown Away by You fit better with the leaves. I also think of Piglet and leaves and blowing, you know, like if you watch Winnie the Pooh and Piglet's all in the leaves and blowing away with Winnie the Pooh. I just find that to be really funny. I don't know, to me it just is really funny. So I'm glad that I could make a video for you guys on Magic Monday. I kept it short and sweet, but at least I was able to give you guys a good video. And I've labeled a bunch of my videos and I've uploaded a bunch of them to YouTube. I'm trying to get more on top of that so that, I don't know, just to be a better stamper, a better, just better at what I do in hopes of just growing my business a little bit more. I appreciate all your support. And just even when you comment and share, I know, I think the same. A flyaway piglet would be really cute, right, Marsha? I would love a little flyaway piglet. I need to find a little piglet. I mean, we have some pigs, but none of them look, they're too fat, you know? I mean, I need them to be a little smaller. I need them to be smaller to be a piglet, you know? The pigs that we have in the catalog are real big and fat. So, but yeah, well, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And so now I'm going to eat dinner and relax. I'm still trying to take it easy, but I did manage to sweep and I managed to take out the garbage today. So that was a win. If you have had COVID, you recognize, and I mean, I live by myself, so there's no one to take out the garbage or the recycling or anything. It's just me. I mean, I could call some friends over to do it, but because I'm sick, I don't really want to call people over to my house, you know. They would do it. I mean, I have plenty of friends, as you saw when I was recovering from my knee surgery. I have plenty of friends that would really, you know, come over and help me out with anything I needed. I'm very blessed to have such good ladies, especially from church, that, you know, just love me as I am. And so I feel very blessed in that way. But I also don't really want to give them COVID. So especially with my garbage, you know. Anyway, I've been using nonstop Clorox wipes and paper towels. Normally I don't like using a ton of paper towels because, I don't know, it's just kind of wasteful. So I try not to use too many paper towels, but I've been using them non-stop since I had COVID, just to help with the sanitary nature of just my apartment. Not that it's like super gross, but just, you know, I'm sure you understand. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and thanks for letting me ramble on, and hopefully I will have some more something for you on Friday. I'm thinking about what we're going to do on Friday. I just got to think it out, and I will let you guys know. All right, well, have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in.